What's going on YouTube? So as you probably know, the A3 is the entry point into the Audi lineup here in the US. However, that does also mean that the Audi S3 is the entry point into the S Performance sub-brand as well. Now we have a new generation of S3, which is what I'm standing next to right now. So is this the small, sporty, and fun luxury sedan to buy? Let's go ahead and find out. So the Audi A3 lineup has entered into a new generation. So that means you do have brand new design for the S3 model. S3, of course, is going to be sportier than your standard A3. And you'll notice that right up here, beginning in the front. So we do have that typical single frame Audi grille, but we do have some unique elements for S3 duty. You'll notice we have kind of this honeycomb texture, and then we've got these little silver accents that run through it, as well as your S3 badge. Now, importantly, for those of you who don't really like shiny things on your sporty sedans, I'm one of them, you can get the black optic package, and you get the black optic package on all three trim levels. That's going to completely black out the entire front end, as well as many other elements throughout the rest of the exterior. Now let's go over here and take a look at our headlights next. You do have a standard full LED arrangement across all trim levels. You had a little bit of a cheaper arrangement actually on the base premium model last year, but that's been eliminated this year. So you're going to have either this arrangement that you see today or the even more advanced matrix LED headlights if you choose the Prestige model. And that's going to include those cool animations that you've seen on many other Audis. It's kind of a cool and impressive party trick to show off to all your friends. Now when it comes to your wheel options, you do have two selections. So you have these right here. These are standard 18-inch, mostly silver-looking alloy wheels. Or choose the black optic package and you'll get 19-inch contrast alloy wheels, which I think look quite a bit better than these. But like I said, that's your choice if you like the blacked out or if you like the shinier look. Now I also want to point out the brake calipers here. These are enhanced from the A3, as you would expect. They're going to be 14.1-inch ventilated disc brakes, and also since we have the S Sport package, that's going to give you the red brake calipers. Now taking a look up here at our mirrors, we do have the satin mirror caps on this model, black on the black optic model. They are going to have heating as standard equipment, and then if you choose the Premium Plus trim level, that will get you auto dimming, power folding, and blind spot monitoring.
All right, guys, so now that we're at the side of the Audi S3, let's go ahead and talk about the overall sizing of this vehicle. Now, of course, as you can tell just by looking at it, this is a small, compact vehicle. Now, of course, that's going to benefit you when it comes to your driving dynamics, which we will explore later in this video, and I'm excited to show you. But as far as the overall length, you're looking at 176.9 inches, which is pretty small. Now, as far as some of the design elements, we have some silver trim down here in the bottom, silver window surrounds. That's, of course, because we have not opted for that black optic package. If you opt for the black optic, everything's going to be blacked out. Now, moving around to the rear design of the S3, we're going to have a very classy and tasteful look. I am a really big fan of the new design of this Audi A3 generation, and the S3 just kind of spices it up a little bit more than that A3. So let's go ahead and break it down. So I want to point out the S3 is going to have a tiny little lip spoiler. It adds a little bit more of a premium look to it. Then if we come to our taillights, we're going to have the same taillights that you would on any Audi A3, but they're going to be very premium. These are pretty much straight from more premium Audi models. So they're full LED. You have all the LED accenting. You have a dynamic LED turn signal that's actually going to be an amber finish. I like that color choice. And we do have an LED reverse light. Here's our S3 branding. And then dropping it down, this is where it gets spicy for the S3 because you're going to have a more aggressive rear diffuser than the A3, and we're also going to have quad exhaust tips. So these are going to be finished in silver since we do not have the black optic package. Of course, that would black that out. And I'll go ahead and let you have a sound sample of this exhaust. Now, in regards to your safety systems and warranty, Audi is going to be throwing in 2 out of 4 of them as standard on every single S3 model. That's going to be forward emergency braking with pedestrian detection and auto high beam headlamps. Now, if you go for at least a Premium Plus trim level or above, that will throw in your other 2 systems, lane keeping assist as well as adaptive cruise control. One thing worth noting, though, is that if you go for that base premium model, Audi is now offering a on-demand adaptive cruise control package, so you can kind of subscribe to adaptive cruise control if you're going on a long road trip. Now, as far as your warranty information is concerned, you're looking at 4 year 50,000 miles for both your basic and powertrain warranty. But guys, that's all for the exterior. Let's go ahead and check out the inside before we take it out in a spin.
So walking up to the Audi S3, we do have a smart entry system, standard on your Premium Plus trim level or available in the Premium trim level with convenience package. This is the typical Audi key fob, although the plastic on the fob itself is going to be a matte finish instead of the piano black finish you find in their more expensive products. And to get inside, of course, just reach behind the handle, it will unlock the door. And of course, this does have an all-new cabin design for the Audi brand. And we'll go ahead and climb inside and take a look at all the details. Now, right off the bat here, let's go ahead and talk about our interior color and material selections, because you do have 2 distinct choices on board. So you are going to come standard with a real leather seat. That's going to be available in black or steel gray. However, what we have on today's model is the optional $1,100 Napa leather seat. As you can see, this gives you that really special sport design seat you see on many of the more expensive Audi products, finished fully in Napa leather. And you have all the beautiful stitching details and quilting in the center here. This is absolutely lovely seat. The quality of the leather is exceptional. Great bolstering as well, nice and thick. We've got the option of black with red stitching. You can also get black with gray stitching or also a steel gray choice. As far as the seat adjustments, you're going to be looking at standard 12-way power adjusting driver's seat, and we do have the manual thigh extension as well. Now let's go ahead and take a look around the entire cabin as a whole and check out the materials. So for 2023 model year, Audi is already making a small update. That's going to be the fact that the leatherette covered armrest is going to be standard on all trim levels this year. As you can see, we do have this really nice looking stitching detail, which kind of a cross stitch that goes through there. It is going to be soft touch above that and soft touch along the top. Your Premium Plus and Prestige models will come with the 2-person memory seating. As we go to the upper dash, this is all going to be finished in a nice soft touch plastic. You'll see that stitching detail, which is multicolored up here on the top dash. When you choose the Napa leather package, you will also get this carbon inlay trim piece that goes through there. You also have faux aluminum running through there, as well as along your lower panel, although there's not going to be any leather padding along this section of it. Now, signifying this is the S model, we do have a red trimmed push button start. So between these 2 vents that punctuate the upper dashboard, we do have our gauge cluster. So there's going to be 2 different options of gauge cluster for the S3. You're going to have a standard 10.25 inch option. That's going to be basically the lower end virtual cockpit system. However, you can get Virtual Cockpit Plus, which is the 12.3 inch option, available on Premium Plus or standard on Prestige. That's what we're looking at right now. As you can see, just like with any other Audi product, really nice resolution. We do have some special designs for S duty, like the tachometer you're looking at right now. And you can still do things like pull up your map and make it take up the entire display. Now as we pull back to the steering wheel, we do have the latest S steering wheel design. Nice perforated leather over here on the side, as well as some red stitching details to match with the seat. As far as the wheel itself, it is going to be manual, tilt, and telescoping. Now this is a relatively small sedan, but let's go ahead and check interior storage and see if it is relatively practical. So starting out underneath our center console here, let me lift that up. It is adjustable, so you can, if you're short, you'll still have a place to rest your arm. And as you can see inside, it is pretty small, as you might expect. We do have a rubber lining down there at the bottom. And let's put it to the test with the coupons. I already can tell these are not going to fit very well at all. Yeah, there's going to be no way to do that. So if you're going to keep your big stack of coupons, you're going to have to stick it in the glove box if you want to hide them, that is. Now we do also have our 2 cup holders right there, and you've got a nice and large storage bin up there in the front. As you can see, this front portion of it is going to be a wireless phone charging pad for Premium Plus and Prestige models, but regardless, you'll have 2 USB-C ports up there in the front. Now pulling back to the shifter, the A3 lineup is the first group of Audi products to get this new shifter. As you can see, it's basically just a little nub down here, and operation is very simple. Just going to press down for drive. You can also press again if you want to activate the sport mode and shift manually with the paddle shifters. For reverse, you're just going to press up in the opposite direction. And when you do, you will be greeted with this standard backup camera, which does have active trajectory. We don't have a 360 option, but we do have front and rear parking sensors, as well as this right here. This is your button to automatically park into parallel and perpendicular parking spots. And then, of course, you just press the P for park. Now, off to the side of that, we have another new type of feature for Audis. That's going to be this multi-function, basically volume and everything audio circle. So everything is going to be inside of this one circle here. As far as the operation on this, to turn up the volume, you actually just trace around it since it is touch sensitive. And we do have the Bang & Olufsen 3D sound system, since we have that as an option on this Premium Plus model or standard on the Prestige. Let's go ahead and give it a sample. Yeah, so overall sound quality of the system is really, really good. It definitely has a lot of kick inside of this small cabin. Alright, so let's go ahead and move above, and the next place we come to will be our climate controls. So unlike some of the other Audi products, which are using climate control systems that are touch-based in a second display, the S3 actually is just going to have this nice row of simple, easy-to-use manual climate control buttons. As far as adjusting it, as you can see, you can just use these toggles that have a nice high-quality feel. It is going to be a dual-zone automatic setup. And as far as heated seats, those are going to be standard on all models, but ventilated seats are not available at this time. Now, talking about the actual display itself. This is basically the top display of some of the more expensive Audi products, still measuring in at 10.1 inches and running the latest MMI software. Now, as far as the features you have on board, you do have the built-in navigation system when you choose the technology package on Premium Plus, and you can make that, of course, Google Earth as well. And you have standard wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay abilities. Now, moving on up here, if you choose to have the Premium Plus trim level, you will get the frameless auto-dimming mirror, which has a built-in compass as well as home link remotes, which are built into the main infotainment system. And then up top here at the roof, we do have a standard panoramic sunroof, is what Audi calls this. That's probably a bit of an exaggeration. It is a slightly larger than normal sunroof, but of course it can't really go all the way back there, because if it did, it would really cut into the rear occupant's headroom. But as you can see, the front panel does open up.
Well, guys, come on back here and sample out the Audi S3's rear seat here with me. Now, first of all, I just want to mention something to kind of clear the air, because this vehicle is a pretty small vehicle, so you'd probably think this rear seat area sucks. And honestly, it's quite impressive. So I'm 5'9", so as you can see, I'm probably the average size adult, maybe a little bit less than average. And I mean, As far as the legroom, I'm looking at probably 3.5, 4 inches of space between my knees and the seat back, and my feet can slide easily up underneath the seat, and these seats themselves are actually incredibly comfortable. The headroom is also perfectly fine as well because Audi has done a cutout, so you have pretty good headroom. Now, if you're curious about the actual figures themselves, you're looking at 35.2 inches of legroom, 36.6 inches of headroom, which makes it not much smaller than the Audi Q3, for instance. Now, let's go ahead and turn to some of our features. So here in the middle, Audi is actually including some rear vents. They're not going to have too elaborate of a design or anything, but they are going to be included right here. And below that, you do also have a temperature adjusting wheel. I did actually check. It does adjust the temperature, so I don't know if this is like a semi 3-zone automatic climate. I'm not really sure. Then down below that, we do have USB Type-C ports, two of them. And then if we fold down the center armrest, we're actually going to have a really nice center armrest. It's very comfortable. Your whole arm can fit right here. And then you have 2 cup holders here in the middle. Now, turning to your door trim, we are going to have a more basic door trim than what you would expect maybe, but we do have a hard touch upper part. And then if we drop down to the lower area, we're going to have leatherette, as well as a leatherette padded armrest. The overall design looks nice though, and we do have bottle storage down in the very bottom. Now, walking up to the S3, we do have a nice trunk area. It's also supposed to have hands-free releasing. And as you can see, when you press the button to open up the trunk, Audi has nicely dampened it so it fully opens up. So it's almost like having a power trunk. Now, as far as the space is concerned in the cargo department of the S3, you're going to have 8.3 cubic feet of cargo capacity. That's a number provided by Audi, and that actually makes it 2 cubic feet less than the Audi A3. Now, maybe an Audi engineer will have to comment down in the comment section down below why the S3 actually has less space than the Audi A3, or if that was just a typo, whatnot. But you're going to have a decent amount of space. As you can see, it's not going to be massive, but we have all of our camera gear in here. It's pretty shallow in terms of the depth, but it does go back a long way. So if you have a long item, it's going to fit in here perfectly fine. Now, off to the left side, you have a 12-volt power outlet. I want to point out your cargo hinges are covered. Then if we lift up the cargo floor, we do not have a spare tire up underneath of here. Now, as far as your passenger seat, this is an incredibly comfortable passenger seat. We do have all the same ways of adjustments as the driver. We do even have the 4-way lumbar support as well as a thigh extension. So that's really, really nice for the passenger side here. Then if we pop open the glove box, you guys know we have the coupons in here. We're big into the coupons. And this S3 has a really, really nicely sized glove box. I mean, look how big this is. It's nicely felt lined. It goes all the way back. Certainly big enough for us to get our coupons in there. The 99-cent kids meal. Maybe I can still pull off being a child. I don't know, to get that. Now, up top, we do have a sun visor. We have a nice mirror as well as some LED lighting. And then we can also detach it and extend it out. Wow.
All right.
That's quick.
So that was up to about 60 miles per hour in this Audi S3. Of course, as you expect, you're going to have a substantial performance increase from the standard A3 model. So what we have on board is a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine with mild hybrid system. That's going to be producing, like I said, substantially more power, 306 horsepower. And that's going to be good for 4.5 seconds, 0 to 60, which is about an entire second faster than the traditional A3 model. No, actually, 2 seconds, I believe, if I'm thinking about it clearly.
Holy.
Get after it, yeah.
It's a little pocket rocket. Really, really quick. Yeah, so it's 100 more horsepower than the A3. That is for sure. You're looking at 295 pound-feet of torque as your torque figure there. Honestly, this feels faster than any 300 horsepower car I've been in, and I imagine that's because this car has such a small footprint. I mean, this is a very compact sedan. It's lightweight, so you're going to get that really quick acceleration.
Yeah, no doubt about that. So we are out on a country back road, which is a good place to, kind of demonstrate the capabilities of the S3. And what I'm feeling here initially is quite impressive. It feels very agile as we go around some corners here. Now I have switched everything into the dynamic setting, so this is going to be the most aggressive, of course. And since we have the S Sport package, one of the important things that does is give you adaptive dampers. So, unlike the standard version, without that, you're going to have the customizability of changing the firmness of the dampers. And it's quite a noticeable difference. You can really tell. Firms things up substantially. Of course, your ride quality is also going to get firmer, but this is for using out here on a country back road. This is the ideal case scenario because you can click it into dynamic mode and get a lot stiffer, and then if you're on the highway or whatever, just go into comfort mode.
Yeah, and the comfort mode is pretty comfortable. We'll talk about that a little later in the test drive when we get past some of the dynamics. Whoa.
Yeah, this thing rips. Yeah, you're not going to have to go all the way to the RS3 for performance. This is definitely plenty of performance for most situations. Obviously, the RS3 is more, but this is plenty.
Yeah, I think the biggest difference and the reason you'd buy the RS3, it has that phenomenal 5-cylinder exhaust, of course. This exhaust system is not bad, to say. Not saying it's bad, but it definitely doesn't sound good as RS3. It's still a lot of fun, though.
Yeah, for sure. Now let's go ahead and talk about a few other aspects of the powertrain. Now, as you could tell, you really put the power down super easily because you have quattro all-wheel drive. And we do have a very performance-oriented transmission. This is a 7-speed dual-clutch automatic. The shifts are lightning quick. I'll actually go ahead and take manual control here and show you guys how that operates. Yeah, having a dual-clutch allows you to really blast off shifts with the manual mode because you have full control and instantaneous response.
Oh, we got a little bit of farting going on there.
Just a little bit. Nice. Yeah, guys, this is a blast behind the wheel. I mean, this thing absolutely puts the power down. Feels so balanced. The steering is really, really good. This is actually, I mean, honestly, this might be the best steering I've felt in an Audi product. Sometimes they're a little light and a little vague. This feels a lot more responsive and a lot heavier than the typical one. I'm really enjoying this.
All right. Well, that was a lot of fun to take it out on the country road. But let's also talk about some more practical elements with the S3, of course. Not all the time you're going to be out on the twisties and really enjoying that whole S performance attitude. I know I'll spend a lot of time, if I owned one of these, I'd spend a lot of time on the country road, but not everyone's going to do that. So let's go ahead and pop it back into comfort mode here. And let's go ahead and just discuss your ride quality as well as some of the other practical elements about it. So the ride quality in comfort mode, as I kind of alluded to earlier, is pretty impressive. I was very pleasantly surprised at how much the adaptive dampers are able to change from dynamic mode to comfort mode. It really starts to soak up the bumps in a way that is very much like an Audi A4. It's not like an S-Class in terms of the ride quality, but I'd say it's pretty much on par with something like a regular Audi A3 or an Audi A4 in terms of your ride quality and comfort mode. Now in dynamic mode it gets a little stiff, but that's how you want it to be.
Right, it makes a big difference.
And let's get a sound level reading. So 57.9 before we got stopped by that red light is what we were sitting at, going 55 miles per hour. Certainly a very good sound level reading. I think that's pretty class competitive for this segment.
Now that was our auto start-stop system at work, and as I mentioned earlier, it is a mild hybrid system. So you do have the advanced auto start-stop, which is very, very smooth. That's not just something that Audi says. Indeed, in practice, it does smooth things out a lot, and this is one of the best auto start-stops in business.
Yeah, for sure. Now, speaking of auto start-stop, let's go ahead and discuss your fuel economy. That's another practical element that'll be costing you money every time you go fill it up. We're sitting at 23 city, 32 highway, 26 miles a gallon combined. So honestly, I was very impressed with that figure, to have something that, with this level of performance, 0 to 60 in 4.5 seconds, to have 26 mpg combined. That is a pretty impressive figure, if you ask me. Do keep in mind you do have to use premium fuel, so that's going to cost a little bit more at the pump. And I guess we could go ahead and get into our airball and slam dunk for today. So as far as our slam dunk, I think that easily just has to be the driving dynamics and the overall experience that you're going to get in this Audi S3. It really delivers on a very fun overall package, while also not sacrificing some of the luxury that you're used to with an Audi.
As far as our airball today, we're going to say that the exhaust system could have a little bit more theatrics. If you've been in an S4 or an S5 like we have, those have really great sounds to them, with a lot of pops and cracks and stuff like that. And I wish a little bit more of that came to this S3. Like I said earlier, it doesn't sound bad by any means. It actually sounds pretty decent, but having a little bit more theatrics, it would just make things even more exciting behind the wheel.
Yeah, and it's also worth noting the RS3 is probably one of the best sounding cars ever made, in my opinion.
Maybe they want people to buy the RS3.
Maybe that's the reason. Maybe Audi's not telling us the truth there. Maybe that's the reason they want you to get the RS3. Well, let's go ahead and talk about the price point of the S3, because I'm sure you're probably curious, what is this level of performance going to get me, or going to cost me? We're looking at $45,900 as a starting point for the S3. For the Premium Plus model, you're looking at $48,800, and the Prestige is going to be $52,800 for the S3. Of course, you do have standard all-wheel drive, and if you're cross-shopping that between an A3, you're looking at about a $10,000 price premium over that A3 model for the S3. Now, if you're looking for an RS3, you're going to do an additional $10,000 over this S3. So, they kind of priced it in the little tiers depending on what level of performance and what your budget is. And what is this tester going to cost us here today? Well, we do have quite a few options. I think we have pretty much everything that you can add to the S3, plus the destination charge of $1,095. As tested, we're looking at $55,090. I guess we did not opt for the Black Optic package, so that would be a little bit more if you went for that.
Yeah, that's, I think, the only option missing from this Premium Plus. The auto start-stop system does actually restart the engine when the car in front of you moves, so it does have that extra intelligence, so it's not actually even waiting for you to lift your foot off the brake, something that I noticed earlier. But in conclusion, as you can probably tell throughout this test drive, we're very impressed by this S3. Audi has really upped the performance ante with this next generation model, and all together as a whole package, it really feels nice.
Well, guys, thanks so much for joining us on our in-depth review of the 2023 Audi S3. If you enjoyed watching this video or found it helpful in your purchasing decisions, we would certainly appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button down below. Also, followed us on TikTok and Instagram, where we have other forms of content, and we do also have a merch store, so if you want to support the channel that way, you can certainly do that. Anyway, we'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.